Ever looked at your garage and thought, this could be more than just storage? Times have changed. They're turning into creative hubs, small factories, personal labs, even micro brands. In one corner, an automatic machine's cranking out beads for handmade jewelry. In another, a 3D printer's building custom sneakers from soft, squishy material. These aren't weekend hobbies anymore. They're real income streams, powered by compact, affordable machines that let anyone build, create, and sell without massive investments or special training. When I first saw this machine, honestly, I thought, well, this definitely isn't for home use. Circuit boards, microchips, precision, it all sounded way too serious. But in reality, it's a neat, compact unit that does exactly what professional assembly lines do, just on a smaller scale. Basically, it's a pick-and-place machine. It positions the components, but doesn't solder them. After placement, the board still needs to be heated in a reflow oven or with a heat gun so the solder melts and everything is fixed in place. This setup is perfect for small workshops or electronic startups. You can quickly prepare a series of boards and handle the soldering separately. The only nuances are accurate calibration and adjusting the vacuum head for different components. But once everything's tuned, the Neoden kit runs very consistently. It's funny how sometimes an entire business depends on one tiny detail. For drinks, that detail is the packaging. You can make a great tea or smoothie, but if it leaks, looks messy, or isn't delivery friendly, that's it. Your sales hit a wall. That's why so many shops now use small cup sealing machines that quickly heat seal drinks with film. One press, and the cup is sealed, neat, and ready to go. What's great is that this setup scales easily. You can run a small counter at a food court, sell to-go drinks, and run delivery during the day. One person can handle everything: a shaker, ice maker, fridge, and this little machine. The cost of one sealed cup is about 8 cents. While the selling price ranges from $5 to $8 or more. If you look at US craft trends, ceramics are having a real comeback. People are tired of mass-produced goods and want something with soul, which is why handmade mugs, bowls, and candle holders are selling out on Etsy and local markets. This is a pottery wheel, but in a modern version. It runs off a standard outlet, takes up less than 2 square feet, and fits even in an apartment or garage. You can make anything on it, from small cups to vases weighing 4 to 5 pounds. And if you're not into getting your hands dirty, you can go the other route and open a studio. People come in, sit at the wheel, and under an instructor's guidance make their own cup or vase. Then it's left for firing, and a few days later they pick it up, finished and glazed. The average price for a workshop like that is $50 to $70 per person, with around $10 spent on materials and equipment rental. These days, with craft beer being brewed on practically every corner, it's hard to impress anyone with flavor alone. But what really draws people in now is the chance to brew their own. Not pick from a menu, but actually create a recipe, decide how much hops to use, what aroma it'll have, what color it should be. Before, that required a whole mini brewery, but now the entire setup fits on a table. This system automates everything, from heating and filtration to fermentation. You just add the malt, water, and hops, and the rest happens automatically with the right temperature and timing. A few days later, you've got real craft beer made exactly to your taste. Some people even open brew your own beer studios or bars where customers come and make their own batches. These places are getting popular across the US. Visitors pay $100 to $150, pick a style like IPA, stout, or wheat, watch the process, and a week later get their finished beer with a personalized label. You've probably seen plenty of machines related to jewelry making, but here's one you might not have. It's a setup that makes perfect metal beads, not just smooth and round, but with textures, bevels, or engraved grooves, the kind used in bracelets, prayer beads, and chains. It works simply. You load a small blank into a clamp, and then everything runs automatically. The bead spins while a diamond-tipped cutter carefully removes layers of metal, carving out the pattern. Some workshops turn these into full jewelry collections. Others sell the beads themselves, individually or in sets. On Etsy and Shopify, these pieces sell steadily. Makers buy them for their own jewelry, and some brands use them for energy bracelets or luxury minimalist accessories. So, even if you're not a jeweler, just producing these as a standalone product can be a solid small business idea. The tufting gun is one of those tools that made a huge splash a couple of years ago. It suddenly felt like everyone became a carpet artist overnight. TikTok, Instagram, Etsy were flooded with videos of yarn shooting out of a gun, forming rugs with cartoon faces or brand logos in minutes. Many who stayed in this niche turned the trend into a real business. For example, a small workshop in Texas makes 3 times 4-foot rugs and sells them for $200–300 each. The most profitable direction right now is branded rugs and wall panels, especially in minimalist or retro styles. These aren't sold to individuals anymore, but to studios, bars, salons. It's full-on B2B now. The heat press is one of those machines everyone's heard of, but few realize how versatile it actually is. It's not just for printing on t-shirts. It's basically a miniature factory for custom products. Shirts, hoodies, mugs, hats, anything you can heat and press becomes a finished item. The process is simple. The design is printed on heat transfer film. The material is warmed up, and under pressure, the image fuses into the surface. Financially, it's one of the most profitable small-scale machines. A custom t-shirt costs about $4 or $5 to make and sells for $20–30 on average. For mugs, the margins are even higher. In essence, it's a tool that lets you run a full-fledged production line at home, no workshop required. When you look at small brands, it feels like everyone already has perfect packaging, tags, cardboard, embossing, as if it all came straight from a factory. But in reality, half of it is made using a compact die-cutting and stamping press. It works like a printer, only instead of ink, it uses molds and pressure. With it, you can cut thick cardboard for tags, make leather labels, business cards with cutouts, and if you add heat, apply foil stamping. And this is one of those cases where you don't need expensive equipment, just a design, a template, and a bit of precision. Dozens of micro-businesses are built around this. For instance, small clothing brands often order 200–300 handmade leather labels or custom cards from local makers. When you first turn on a melting furnace, you don't hear the sound, you feel the heat. This kind of furnace is usually used in casting workshops. The temperature reaches nearly 3,600 degrees Fahrenheit, enough to melt aluminum, silver, brass, and bronze. Everything that later becomes rings, pendants, or decorative elements goes through this stage. I know artisans who work solely on metal recycling. They collect leftover silver, old jewelry, scrap, melt it into ingots, and recast new pieces. The cost drops drastically, and visually, the result is indistinguishable from factory metal. Plus, you can experiment with the composition, tweak color, density, or texture. And if you set up a small cycle, melting, casting, polishing, you can run the entire production process within a single workshop. Across many US states, small batch sausage making is becoming a trend. People are opening family shops, farm stores, or simply selling through local markets. If you break down sausage production, it really comes down to 3 machines. The first is a grinder. It turns meat into uniform mince without lumps or excess moisture. Next comes the stuffer, the machine that carefully fills the casing. Consistency is key here so the sausage doesn't burst while cooking or lose its texture. The final step is the tying machine, which automatically twists and sections the sausage into links, securing them with string. In 15–20 minutes, you can go from a piece of meat to tidy, ready-to-cook or smoke sausages. No industrial line needed. It all fits in a regular kitchen and can produce up to 8,100 pounds per hour. Add packaging and labeling, and you can easily position it as premium homemade sausage. There's a whole balloon surprise culture. Gifts where flowers, notes, cash, or small presents are hidden inside a balloon. It might sound like a little thing, but in the gift market, these sell even better than regular bouquets. To make it look professional, a special balloon machine is used. It shapes, seals, and creates the composition inside. You can add petals, decorations, small plush toys. Then the balloon is heat-sealed, polished, and ends up looking like a designer piece from a boutique. These are usually made by small decor or flower studios, but more and more people are launching it as a standalone business. For example, a girl in California makes 10-15 of these orders per week right from her garage, decoration, packaging, and delivery, all in one. A lot of people look for ideas where they can start with something simple, yet make a product that looks premium. Handmade soap is exactly that kind of business. You don't need to build a factory or buy heavy equipment. Just get a professional cold process kit and start small-scale production right at home. The kit includes everything: oils, lye, molds, fragrances, gloves, and a scale. It's not a craft set. It's a real starter pack for anyone who wants to understand the process and still make shop-quality results. You mix the oils, add scent, pour it into molds, and in a couple of days, you've got finished bars that look like boutique products. Once you gain experience, you can move beyond the kit, order oils, scents, and molds separately, create your own formulas, and experiment with ingredients. That's how product lines are born. Some people make natural, unscented soap, others focus on colors and design, and some move into gift sets and spa collections. I never thought you could make a sellable product from ordinary stones, but apparently all you need is a rock tumbler. It's a simple device. It takes raw, unpolished rocks and over a few days turns them into smooth, shiny stones ready to sell. The process couldn't be easier. Load the rocks into the barrel, add water and grit, turn it on, and wait. Depending on the type of stone, polished sets can sell for $5,100. Some people make labeled mineral collections, others use them in jewelry, and some sell them as meditation stones. And all of that works. If you think about it, almost every plastic item around us started as melted material injected into a mold. A remote control casing, a bottle cap, a fastener, all made through injection molding. What used to be possible only in factories now easily fits on a desk. Compact injection molding machines let you produce small batches of parts right on site. You pour in plastic pellets. They heat, melt, and are injected under pressure into a mold. A few minutes later, you open the press and pull out a finished part, smooth, precise, and durable. No 3D printing, no long post-processing, no waiting for an order. You can order molds or print them yourself, and materials range from affordable to reinforced, ABS, polycarbonate, PLA. With one of these machines, you can make hundreds of parts per day while keeping full control of production. I immediately knew this 3D printer wasn't ordinary. It works with dozens of materials, from standard plastics to flexible compounds and even carbon fiber blends. That's what makes it so versatile. It all depends on what material you load and what you want to make. For example, TPU can be used for cases, gaskets, soles, or clothing elements. Nylon for mechanical parts and connectors. Carbon fiber for lightweight yet strong casings. All of this comes out of one compact device that takes up less space than a microwave. A spool of material costs around $30 and can produce hundreds of dollars worth of goods. One day, one idea, one file, one finished product. That's what makes these machines so appealing for small businesses. They let you manufacture at a small scale, but with professional level quality. I used to think food dehydrators were just kitchen gadgets, until I realized they're actually a ready-made tool for small-scale production. This kind of machine lets you make dozens of products, from fruit chips to jerky, just by controlling temperature and time. It removes moisture but keeps everything else: the aroma, sweetness, and concentrated flavor. Fruits turn dense and crunchy, while meat becomes chewy and rich, just like real jerky. You can also dry herbs, vegetables, or even make dog treats that sell great on Etsy or Amazon. You control the entire process: temperature, timing, slice thickness, and end up with something that actually tastes better than store-bought. Tapioca production isn't about handmade or giant Asian factories anymore. It's now a simple process you can run right in a cafe kitchen. The machine does everything: mixes the starch dough, extrudes it, cuts and shapes perfect little pearls. One batch takes just a few minutes and can go straight to boiling. A pound of finished pearls sells for around $3–4, but making them yourself costs under $1. You can tweak the recipe, Experiment with syrups, make colored or flavored pearls, every cess. It all depends on your creativity and presentation. I couldn't leave out the laser engraver. It's basically a must-have tool for anyone who's ever tried making things on their own. A small machine, but with endless possibilities. Materials cost next to nothing, yet the added value appears in seconds. A simple piece of wood or leather blank turns into a sellable product instantly, ready for Etsy, Amazon, or local markets. Add a bit of acrylic, wood, or creativity, and your product range becomes virtually unlimited. I couldn't skip the smart beehive either. It's one of those machines that seems a bit off topic but fits perfectly in meaning. A small, autonomous setup that turns a regular apiary into a modern, data-driven system with full control over temperature, humidity, activity, and honey collection. Basically, it's a beehive with a brain. Sensors monitor colony health, the system adjusts the microclimate automatically, and an app shows everything in real time, from frame weight to nectar level. Urban beekeeping is growing fast in the US, on rooftops, in parks, even in backyards, and these hives let anyone do it safely, easily, and without bulky equipment. The manual button press might be one of the most underrated machines for small business. No screens, sensors, or electronics, just pure mechanics, yet the possibilities are huge. It's used to make buttons, magnets, badges, compact mirrors, even keychains, basically anything that combines an image, a base, and a cover layer. The process is simple. Print the design, cut a circle, insert it, press, and in 2 seconds, you've got a perfect, shop-quality button. You can make name tags, branded merch, memes, even wedding souvenirs. I'd call it not a machine, but a quick creativity tool. It requires no experience, yet produces results you can sell instantly, whether online or in person.